How to make your wife regret losing you. Probably you're going through a separation right now. Probably your wife has left you. She doesn't want to come back. She doesn't even want to see your face. In this situation, what do you do to make your wife regret losing you? That's the question I'm going to answer in this particular video. Continue to watch it. Hi, Val here, and I help men to revive their love stories. In this particular video, I'm going to talk about the following points which will help you to make your wife regret losing you. So, what are the points? The first thing I'm going to talk about is if you want your wife to regret losing you after separation and you want your wife to come back, then you got to avoid certain don'ts. Then the second thing I'm going to talk about the whole concept of loving yourself. If you really want your wife to look up to you, then I'm going to talk about how do you become a hero, because only a hero can get his wife back. So how do you become a hero so that you can attract your wife back to you? The next concept I'm going to talk about is show up. How do you show up after you become a hero? And the last thing is if you do the above four things, what will make your wife to regret losing you? So let us jump in and let us talk about the first thing, that is, what are the things you got to avoid in order for your wife to regret losing you. That means that when your wife looks back and starts introspecting, start reflecting, she'll feel that, oh God, I've lost somebody who is really precious, really important, and I want this person to come back. So the first thing you got to avoid is begging. Because when you beg your wife to come back, agree with the conditions, the respect that she has, the admiration that she has for you goes down. So the first thing to avoid is begging. The second thing to avoid is asking for forgiveness to get your wife back. Asking for forgiveness is a good thing. That's a wonderful uh, characteristic, wonderful quality of a person. But when you ask her for forgiveness to get your wife back, to get her back, that's where she loses all respect on you, because she feels that you're manipulative, you're trying to do all these things just to get her back. It's all naughty, it's all drama. So that's where she loses faith in you. So the second thing to avoid doing is asking her to forgive you. The third thing that you should avoid doing is the most common mistake many men make is trying to convince. Going to your wife's house, sitting over there, probably taking your parents along, probably taking some elder person along, sitting there and telling her that I'm going to be a different person. Ek baat aati hai jati hai. We should forget. We should forgive. We got a child. Think about the child. We got what will the society think? Now that is called convincing. Now this worked in the past to get your wife back. It's not about getting love back. It worked to get your wife back, but today it doesn't work. So the next thing that you got to avoid is what I spoke about just now, is trying to convince. Now if you are going to avoid these things, then what do you need to do? The first thing you got to do is you got to love yourself. You got to love yourself. One of the most common mistakes that men make during separation or while they go through a divorce process is they stop loving themselves. Now think about it. How can your wife love you when you're not loving yourself? In order for your wife to at least get attracted to you, you should look presentable. You should look like a hero. You should be out of the victim mindset. In our community, that is the first thing that we focus on. The community of awesome husbands, we have something called a hero habit tracker, and in that, every day we make sure that we follow the set of things, set of habits that will help us to uplift ourselves, that will help us to love ourselves. The habits like writing gratitude, habits like focusing on our food, the sleep, the connect, the exercise, the prayer, the meditation, Now that's what will keep you afloat. So the second thing to do, if you want your wife to get attracted back to you, then you got to love yourself first. And in case if you're interested in this community of awesome husbands, and if you want to learn more about it, then please go to coachval.co. That's given out here. Go to coachval.co and sign up for a free masterclass that I'm doing, where I'm going to talk all about this particular community and how can you be part of this community to become an awesome man, to take charge of your marriage, to turn things around. And the next thing is becoming a hero. Becoming a hero. So there are two kinds of mindsets people have. The first kind of mindset is called a victim mindset, and the second kind of mindset is a hero mindset. The people whose wife leaves them generally have a victim mindset. And from the victim mindset, they generally say, why should only men change? I've not made any mistakes. My wife is wrong. Her parents are wrong. And she has done this and she has done. It's all about the other person. And I have no responsibility to take. I have nothing to do with it. I'm a saint. I'm an amazing person. Even if I made the mistake, but that was only once, but that was only thrice, but it was only 5 times. So if you are somebody who is into this victim mindset, your wife will not get attracted to you. She'll feel affirmed of leaving you because she is also into a victim mindset. So the second kind of mindset you can get into is called the hero mindset. In the hero mindset, you don't think about who is right and who is wrong. You think about how can I bring about a shift. By bringing a shift within myself, how can I become a person that she can't resist falling in love with? Now this is called a hero mindset. And then the next thing is, once you become a hero, you got to show up. You got to show up. What does it mean? That it means that once you take care of yourself, once you start feeling better, once you start feeling energetic, now you got to show up to your wife to see it. Many of the men that I've seen who make this mistake, is first mistake they make is getting stuck at victim mindset, and with the victim mindset they go to their wife's house, they meet her in the court, they um, interact with her, and because they are in their victim mindset and their spouse is also in the victim mindset, they get nothing out of it. They don't come closer, they don't create a connection. The second mistake that men make is they understand that they are into a victim mindset and they get out of it, but they don't do the show up. They hope and wait that someday their wife will call up, someday their wife will interact with them, and nothing changes. So the second thing is, the next thing is you got to show up, not to get her back, but to connect, to connect and to demonstrate the master behavior. So what are the master behaviors? There are 5 behaviors that will make your wife fall in love with you. They are very simple yet very powerful. The first one is going to her side. That means that when you meet your wife, you're not asking her to come back, you're not begging her, you're not asking for forgiveness, you're not trying to convince her. You're going to go to her side and look at the world from there. And when you look at the world from there, from her perspective, you're going to understand the pain she has gone through, the challenges that she has gone through. And because of that, you're going to empathize. And when you empathize, she'll feel that, wow, this person has changed. We have a man in our community, awesome husband in our community, who told us that after 5 months of separation, after blocked for 5 months, he was going through the program after he was separated. One night, his wife unblocked him, and he spoke to his wife, and they spoke for about 4.5 hours. And at the end of it, his wife said, "How is it possible for you to change so much? Somebody who has not changed in the last 10 years, how is it possible that you have changed? Why did that happen?" It happened because he went to her side, started understanding the challenges, the pain, the struggles that she is going through. If for a moment he forgot about his own challenges. Now that is called loving. When you do that consistently, there's a shift that happens. Your wife comes to your side. The second thing, the master behavior, is called appreciation. No matter what the situation is, no matter how bad the situation is, you can still appreciate your wife. You just have to look for the reason to appreciate. The third thing is gratitude. One of the things that I've noticed about people who have a miserable marriage is they stop showing gratitude. At the beginning of their marriage, they show a lot of gratitude towards their wife. They say, "Thank you, I appreciate you, this was really good." But when, as the time moves, they stop it. It's not only men, it's also the women. It's some unknown or unsaid rule people follow in their marriage that I just don't have to, I can take things for granted. I just don't have to say thank you. I just don't have to appreciate. And that's where things fall apart. But when you meet your wife, maybe in the court, maybe in the house, and you start appreciating and showing gratitude, your wife will say, "Wow, this person has changed. This person has changed." And then she will go through the um, process of noticing you, the go through the process of doubting you, the go through the she'll go through the process of resisting you and finally trusting you. So gratitude. The fourth thing is request. Request is such a powerful thing that works. So the people who are in miserable marriage don't request, they just order. But when you start requesting in small things, is it okay? We have a man in our community who was already divorced, and after, like, this was months ago, his wife allowed his daughter to come and stay with him overnight. And I asked him, "What happened? What made your wife to change her mind?" And he said, "All the time I used to order her, but this time I requested." And that is the shift that comes about when you start requesting. And the final thing is apology. Now, this is very important. Earlier, I told you that asking for forgiveness is not right. You shouldn't do it. That reduces respect. Now, apology and asking for forgiveness is very different. Asking for forgiveness is a way, if it is a strategy to get your wife back, then your wife will feel it that you are trying to get her back. But if you are genuinely sorry for what happened, then your wife will start feeling empathy for you, the connection for you, the understanding for you. Now, when you start doing these things, that is, let's come back here and let me summarize. um, when you start showing up, let's start from the top. Avoid When you start avoiding the don'ts, when you start loving self, when you start becoming a hero, when you start showing up, what happens is your wife starts experiencing the new you. She starts comparing you to the old self, and she says, "Wow, this person has changed." And once she realizes that, she will go through 5 stages. I talk in depth about these stages in the masterclass, so you can attend the masterclass and you learn them. But in simple words, she will go through the stage of noticing, she'll go through the stage of doubting, she'll go through the stage of resisting, she'll go through the stage of trusting, and finally, she will come to the stage of believing in you and coming together. And why does this work? It works because you're creating new memories, you're creating new experiences. And she keeps thinking about whether I will find somebody so loving as this man. She'll start thinking about, all right, he has made mistakes in the past. He has done this, he has done that. But the new things that make her feel that no, he has changed. Whatever has happened has happened. You don't have to tell her that. She will feel it. She will feel it. So I want you to think about all these things as you are moving forward and understand that just because your wife has left you is not the end. Your wife is going to regret losing you when you change, when you become that amazing person that your wife can't resist falling in love with. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you like this video, please subscribe to this channel so that every time I put up a video, you will know. Also, press that bell icon and click on that like button. And if there is somebody who is going through a separation at this moment and he needs to hear what you have just heard, please share this video with others. And finally, I want you to go to the comment section right now and write down one thing that you have learned out here. Thank you so much once again for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next video with some other topic that will help you to create the marriage of your dreams. Until we connect again in the next video, as always, keep your love story alive.